Well, hello once again. It's the next day, nice bright sunny day after realizing that this transformer was actually good and we got this thing to work. And of course I got an earful from my mentor, you know, which is what mentors do, you know, they're a bunch of taskmasters. Anyway, I guess I let him down with the way I was checking this out. I don't know why, you know, checking out the transformer, to me, I didn't care how it turned out. It didn't matter. I wasn't getting voltage. I don't care what's going on in here. I wasn't getting the voltage I needed to light this tube. And even if this checked out perfect, if I'm still not getting voltage, something was wrong, and I just didn't know what it was. So, you know, another lesson learned. I'm sure he'll give me a nice lesson on how to do this, though. Anyway, today's goal, our internet is down again, unfortunately, so what the heck, might as well come out here and see if I can't get our select-o-matic mechanism to go back and forth. That's today's goal. Well, I got thinking, you know, I put the clutch on, I took the clutch off and then put the clutch back on, you'll remember, in order to get this stupid thing to go down into the rack. And I could have jammed the gears or something. I mean, it could be that this thing should be moving. It should be moving. I mean, the motor's working, everything's good, but it wasn't moving. Even with the this switch down here, it wasn't moving. Now, this switch here, in my mind, this service switch, this is nothing more than a bypass. It bypasses all this coin-operated crap and just goes straight to here. And that way the serviceman can come in and move the rack wherever he wants without having to worry about all this other gizmo, you know, pressing buttons on the keyboard and all that crap. So it's just a bypass switch, something simple. Well, I checked it all out. As you can see, I checked every little contact to make sure it was making contact. And then I got thinking, you know, maybe those gears for that clutch gear at the very bottom might have been jammed up against one of the teeth on this right here. I've done that before on putting starter in a car. I've had it jammed. I had to wiggle the starter in order to get the, you know, for those of you who work on cars, you know, the Bendix would be out, but I needed it to come back. So if you jiggle it enough and loosen up the starter on the bell housing and shake it enough, that it would finally release from the teeth and it would come back into the starter in order for the flywheel to turn. So with that in mind, I said, geez, I wonder if I just come out here, just grab this baby right here, just give it a good shake. You know, maybe I can do the same thing I used to do on starters on Chevys. Well, let's see. I just did that, and I'm going to show you what happened. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. I've got this thing turned on. The motor's going around. And remember, today's goal was to try to get some movement out of this thing. Let's move the trip switch down. Another success, folks. The problem is, though, when it gets down here, it's not being tripped enough to go back the other way. And I don't know what's going on. Alright, after fiddle farting around with it and jiggling it and everything, let's try the trip switch now. Now, this is, we'll put this down. It's up right now. Oop, I guess we're going to have to hit this again. There we go. There we go. She is going back and forth, but right here, see, it's not flipping enough. I've got to readjust this. I got to take a look at these tabs. This one over here is okay. This one's not so good. See, it just stops. I have to do it manually. You know, if I deliberately set out to sabotage this jukebox, I don't think I could have done as good a job as screwed up as this thing is. Notice how these things are down. They're facing downward. And the screws go in from the bottom up. When I first saw that, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's the way it was, so I just let her ride. Now let's take a look at our manual. Remember, the tabs are pointed downward. But when we look at our manual, the tabs are pointed upward. And the screws go in from the top. That way you can adjust it back and forth without having to remove the entire mechanism. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I'm going to have to switch them around, and I'll have to mark this one with a pencil. It's in the right spot. This one here I've already marked. It's going to have to be moved over to about right in this area here. Let's get it done. We've got all these things put in properly now according to the diagram in the book. So let's see what happens. It should go down and back and down and back and then quit. I think this one quits at this end. The other ones I've seen I think quit at the other end, but this one I think quits at this end. You know, keep in mind, I've never worked on a jukebox until I got this one, so here we go. Now, should go back the other way. And then come back here and stop. Look at that. I think that's another problem solved. Alright, I've been kind of feeding you fellas a steady dose of long videos. It's time you got a break. So we'll just make this one a short one. You saw what progress we made today. The goal was set, the goal was accomplished. You know, to whatever degree that is. You know, to me it's great. Over and down, over and back, shuts off. As far as I'm concerned, that's great. By the way, we got another comment from Harry Hall, and he said that indeed, you know, that when he worked with his dad and everything, he'd been in the biz, I guess, for 50 years. And he said it does. He mentioned in his comment that this mechanism does stop on the right. That kind of made me feel good. All right, I guess he read my mind on that one. I don't know. What we're going to do now is I'm going to spend the next day or so going through this single pricing unit, SPU1. I've got the schematic for it here in the book, and then Brendan sent me a bunch of you know, technical data, technical info on it quite a while ago, so I'm going to check it all out. I've already ohmed out all the coils and everything. All the coils they ohm out. Now, of course, you may have to. There is a capacitor in there that I'm concerned about. It may be our big problem. I don't know. See that great big giant tan capacitor there? I may have to unsolder that and run it across our capacitor checker just to see what it says. There'll probably be a couple other things too. I want to go through, I think there's a, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't really looked at it yet because I didn't quite expect it to go along quite this quickly, but I think there's an adjustment procedure for some of these also. Anyway, that's it for now. Like I said, I don't want to put you through another long old video. So until next time, this is John.